Hello students, I'm Ashish, and today I'll talk about biology and its domains and subdomains, and what are the contents, what are the things which are going to study in class 11th and 12th, what are the things which are going to study in higher classes like graduation and post graduation. So first start with the biology. What is biology? Biology is the study of biological things, means living things. And when we are studying biology, then we are only focusing on biological things like plants, animals and microbes. And what are the study of non-living things called? Non-living things are studied under chemistry and physics. Physics means physical environment, chemistry means chemical environment, and biology means biological environment. So first we will classify biological sciences into seven categories. May first thing is taxonomy. Taxonomy may we deal with microbial taxonomy, plant taxonomy and animal taxonomy. Microbial means unicellular organism and their taxonomy. Plants means lower and higher plants, and animals means vertebrate, invertebrate and all animals under the category. So taxonomy deals with the identification and classification of the biological and identification of biological things, plants and animals or microbes. And cell and molecular biology, now in cell and molecular biology we study about the cell organelles, cell cycle, cell signaling and molecular basis of inheritance, which is your chapter in class 12th. And when we talk of cell organelles and cell cycle, this comes under the syllabus of 11th, and cell signaling is some higher thing which we are studying in higher classes like graduation and post graduation, and it deals with the building blocks of organism, that is cell, and how it works and what are the functioning of the biological fundamental unit of life. And third thing is morphology and anatomy. Under morphology and anatomy we deals with the structural organization of organisms, means how the body of the plant or the animal, how it looks and what are the parts of the body and what are the we can say the layers of the cells and how they aggregate and form the body. And third thing is physiology, where we study the functioning of the body. Functioning means what the part we study in anatomy, the parts of the body and their sections, their how the cell are arranged. And physiology we study these cells or organelles, how they are working, the organs, how they are working. So functioning of all the body parts of the organism is studied under the physiology. And now we talk about the biochemistry. In sorry for the slide, some things are missing, like actually this was created in PPT and now it is presented in some other software, so it is happening like this. So biochemistry deals with the biomolecules. Biomolecules mean protein, carbohydrate, minerals and fat, nucleic acid, all the things that are studied under the biochemistry. Biochemistry is now two things: fundamental biochemistry, that deals with the biomolecules and structure, and second is the metabolism. Metabolism means how they are formed, how they are used, and this comes under the metabolic chemistry. And so biochemistry deals with the living molecules and its catabolism and anabolism. So those six things is environmental biology. Environmental biology deals with the ecology, means the ecosystem or in the biosphere, how you are living. And genetics means how your genes are inherited. This I took in environmental biology because mainly we are talking about the estimates how genes are transferred into the from higher to the lower descendants. So third thing is evolution. We talk about we will be talking about the evolving of the species, evolving of the animals. So it is for the maintenance of organisms in the biosphere. So this I kept in the environmental biochemistry. Seventh thing is applied biology and experimental biology. Applied biology is something that is advanced, that comes in the new era like 1980s ke baad jo aaye, that are applied biology, and it deals with the specialization, means you are studying all these things. Where do you implement all these things? So where you are going to implement all these things comes under the applied biology. So biotechnology is one of the era one of the discipline where you are using these things, physiology, biochemistry, and all these, as the technique to develop a tool, develop a pattern, develop a procedure which helps in the human welfare of the society, human welfare or the society. Okay. And now it comes under the microbiology. Microbiology mein we are studying pathology of the disease and immunology actually is the immune system, which is called the ninth system of the body of the animal. And bioinformatics and biostatistics are something that is studied in the higher classes like graduation and post graduation. So let's deal with all of these parts and separately, and what are the chapters you are going to study in your syllabus in 11th and 12th, and what and from where does it fall, so that you can understand what is the place of the chapter in our biological system. So when we talk of cell and molecular biology, which is the fundamentals of the biology, that is fundamentals of biology, I mean ki if you know the cell, you know the tissue, then only you are going to study all these things. This is why I am putting these chapters in a sequence, so that you can understand, because you don't know what is, if you don't know what is cell, then how can you study the whole organism, that is physiology. So first you have to know about the cell, then you have first you have to know about the biomolecules actually, then cell, then what are the inheritance pattern, means ki how they are going to replicate. Means ki how they are, suppose something is like if you have a pool of protein, then they are used, suppose, then how can we recover, reform that protein? So that is under the biomolecules, that is under the biochemistry, and that deal with the molecular descendants. You can say the molecular descendants that are formed from the formed by the cell. So it is characterized in the cell and molecular biology. So in 11th class and 12th class, from this part you have to study about the cell, the fundamental unit of life. The blue mark is blue text mark, the blue color of the text deals with the actually represent the 12th class, and black one is for the 11th class. So in 11th you are going to study from this unit, this part, the cell, the unit of life, and cell cycle and cell division, and from 12th molecular basis of inheritance. And likewise you if you talk about the part 2, then about taxonomy, you are going to study 4 main units of the 11th class biology, that is the living world, biological classification, plant taxonomy, and animal taxonomy. And when we talk of part 3 has morphology and anatomy. Morphology means structural organization, structure of animal, or structure of plant, you can say. So from this unit we have morphology of flowering plants, and anatomy of flowering plants, and structural organization in animal. This will deal with the tissues and the anatomy of the animal, or pattern of aggregation of the tissues, or pattern of aggregation of tissues to form organ, and where these organs are located and how are they working. So their further working will be described in physiology. So when we talk of part 4 is actually the physiology, which has 2 things to study in plant and animal. So when we talk of plant animal, we have many chapters, like suppose this physiology only contains about you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 plus 8 15 means approximately 40% of the syllabus is physiology. When we talk of plant physiology, it is necessary to study transport in plants, how can the water and the molecules are transported. The plants, they take in the form of glucose as a food, how they are transported from one place to another place. So the next thing is mineral nutrition. Mineral means they are absorbing continuously from the root, and how they are transported, and what are the toxic nutrients, what are the beneficial nutrients, what are the amount of actual amount of things, that optimum amount of things to nutrients to work properly. And the next thing is photosynthesis, that is the nutrition in plant. And chapter 14 of class 11 is respiration in plant, and 15 is plant growth and development. And these two chapters from the class 12, reproduction in organism and sexual reproduction in flowering plants, these two I have kept in plant physiology unit. And when we talk of animal physiology, we have digestion and absorption, that is nutrition in animals. And chapter number 17, breathing and exchange of gases. And 18, that is body fluids and circulation. Body fluids may we will study about the blood and lymph. And chapter number 19, excretory products and elimination. 20 is locomotion and movement. This is just like how the frame of the body is established, and how are we able to move with that anchored position. If we talk about human, we are upright, we are in upright position. How are we in upright position? That is the thing we will study in these things. And what are the triggers that will, what are the triggers, what are the things that will help us to move. And chapter number 21 is neural control and coordination. Control and coordination means you are studying about the brain and how are you going to sense the environment. And when we talk of chapter 22, it will deal about the chemical coordination and integration. We have two things. First thing is that is nervous system, and second thing is chemical coordination and integration. Chemical coordination and integration, this deals with the hormone which are going to control you. One thing that controls you is neuron, and the second thing that controls you is the chemical that is known as hormone. Hormone are low molecular weight molecules which help in controlling your body. And the last system, that is eighth system, is human reproductive system. Human reproductive system may we will deal with male and female human reproductive system. These two last things, that is human and this reproductive health, these are from the class 12. So when we talk about part 5 deals with the biochemistry. Biochemistry means the study of biomolecules. And there are only one chapter in class 11 that deals with the biomolecules, that is chapter 9. And when we talk of part 6 is environmental biology. Sorry for this chaos in the environmental biology spelling. And so this deals with the ecology. Ecology has 4 units in class 12, that is chapter number 13, organism and population, and chapter number 13 and 14, 15 and 16. These three are ecosystem, biodiversity, conservation and environmental issues. These chapters deals with the ecological part of the syllabus. And the chapter number 5 from the class 12, that deals with the genetics. Genetics means there are many things to know. That is, what is genetics? Genetics is the study of genes and inheritance. And likewise, there are many terms you get to know. I'll discuss that in last part of the when the slide will end. Then I'll talk about that thing. Okay. And evolution deals with the evolving of the species, from lower to higher organism. How are we made, and what were the factors which helped us to evolve from a lower archibacteria to a human being. Part 7 deals with applied biology, implications of the biology, and this will in this unit we are going to study about biotechnology, microbiology in class 12. When we talk of syllabus now, so let me come later. So chapter 11 deals with the biotechnology principles and processes, and chapter 12 deals with the biotechnology and its applications. Chapter number 9 is strategies of enhancing food production, production. In this chapter, this is slightly something that is you can say the outcome of the syllabus. Outcome means कि ultimately we are relying on the food, and we always want कि हमारी yield ज़्यादा हो. Yield means the production हमारी ज़्यादा हो. So what are the strategies taken to enhance the yield, enhance the production of the food? So there are many things to study in this chapter, that is inbreeding, and that is breeding in a different way, so that we are going to have suppose you are eating chicken, then we should have chicks in a higher number. We want कि जब हमारे चिक्स हों तो एक की जगह वो 5-6 अंडे दे, 5-6 अंडे दे, तो दैट विल बी कि 5-6 चिकन होंगे, 5-6 चिकन होंगे, तो दैट विल एनहेंस द यील्ड, एनहेंस द नंबर ऑफ द चिकन, एंड दैट विल बी, and this chapter is actually the thing to feed high number of population is rising. 1.6% growth rate is there in India only. So from this data you can think कि 33 years में या 34 years में your population is going to double, and so इतने लोगों को खिलाने के लिए हमारे पास चाहिए food. that ये chapter वही डील करता है कि how can you enhance the food production. And chapter 10 deals with the microbes in human welfare. What are the detrimental thing, and what are the beneficial things about the microbes in the human welfare. Human welfare means human हमारी day to day life में. And 8th thing is human health and disease. Human health and diseases comes under the microbiology, where we are going to study about the parasites and pathogens, and how they are affecting our body, how they are giving the disease to the people. Disease actually is, you can think disease in this thing, dis-ease means no, ease means comfort, no comfort, that is discomfort, that the when your body is in discomfort, then you can think of that your body is in a diseased condition. So in this chapter we will deal with the disease and how our body is coping up with that disease, the response by the immune system. That concept of immune system comes into existence here in this chapter. So that was something about the overview of the syllabus, and where we are placing our chapters and in which domain. So the thing that I was telling that time and I seized was that there are many things to study, and each of the suppose you are going to study bird, then you will call it a ornithology. That is the study of different things is known as different ologies. Ologies means, suppose you are studying cell, then that is the study of cell is known as cytology. Then you are studying insect, then it is called entomology. So these things have different logies. These are called the logies, and you will Google it and find that there are many disciplines which are characterized, which are nomenclatured in such a way that these ologies, some of the ologies are quite like, you can see the word and think of that what are the study is known as. Just for example, I will talk of immunology. Immunology is something that automatically represents, struck your mind that this is something that is in this chapter, in this branch of biology we are studying about the immune system. And so there are many logies. So chapter this is the sequential arrangement of our chapters, and in my way, I am not saying that this is any pattern from the authorized society or authorized federations, but this is my own opinion to start with these units, so that you can understand better. And I mean ki when you are studying about the physiology, then you must know about the cell first. So this is the sequence. For first we will talk about the biomolecules, then living world, then cell and cell cycle, then we will come into the, after studying the cell, then we will come into the molecules. What are the molecular inheritance, how are these molecules of life? There are 3 molecules of life: protein, nucleic acid, and carbohydrate. And fat is also the molecule of life, but the thing is ki these 3 are very important thing. Then protein, nucleic acid, and glucose. And out of these 2, protein and nucleic acid, these 2 are actually interchangeable into each other. That each other, we cannot say each other, but this is unidirectional process, that is central dogma, where nucleic acid is giving rise to protein, and protein will structure our body. in a layman we can think of that protein is the structure of our body. So nucleic acid first deals with, first nucleic acid is synthesized and produced, and then these nucleic acid is like, suppose that I'm giving an example. Suppose you have a nucleic acid, you kept it on a Xerox machine, and then what happens? Xerox machine is giving the copy, so that Xerox machine will give the protein, and that protein you are going to use in anything. Suppose you are going to submit in office, any office, then the protein is the main outcome that is going to structure our body. So then we will start about the biological classification. After studying the cell, we will study about the biological classification. How are these cells? Suppose that you about the euglena, sporozoa, and all these things, how are they classified? After studying the cellular portion, that is structure of the cell, then you will be better knowing about the classification, that is alga, fungi, and protozoan, and all these things then you are going to study. Then we will talk of higher animals like plant and animal, and then we will talk about the anatomy of the flowering plant. Then animal taxonomy will come into existence, and then we will study about the anatomy of animals. Then we will start the physiology part. Physiology may all these things: mineral nutrition, photosynthesis, respiration, plant growth and development, reproductive system of the plant, and some unicellular organism. And then after all these things we will move toward the animal physiology. Animal physiology may digestion, absorption, breathing and exchange of gases, body fluids and circulation, and excretory products and elimination, locomotion and movement, neural control and coordination, and chemical coordination and integration. These all, and reproductive system, these all things we are going to study in the physiology part. And then after I will move toward the human health and diseases. How are these functions, these functioning of the body, that is physiological system, how are these aberred, these systems, how are what are the things which are interfering with these systems, and what are our soldiers in the body which are going to fight with these diseases. This we will study in human health and disease. And after that we will study principles of inheritance and variation, that is genetics, and then after evolution. And then we will talk of food production and microbes in human welfare. Some microbes are eaten up by us as a diet. So these things, and these are all like implications of the biology. These 4 chapters: strategies to biotechnology and application. These are outcomes or implementation of the biology for the human welfare. So these things we will study, and after that we will at last we will study the ecosystem, that is organism and population, community, how we are interacting with our biosphere, what are the relationships with our biosphere, and the last thing, last of all, we will study about the how we are damaging our ecosystem, and that is environmental issues, and what are the conservation strategies, some ethical thing that we have to protect our home. Our ecosystem is our home, and we have to protect our ecosystem. So this was a general discussion, and now onwards I will start uploading some lectures on each of the topic in a sequence which I have given. You can keep a screenshot of all these all these 2 important slides, which will be very beneficial to you. Take a screenshot of it. Yes. So all 38 chapters are going to be covered in the next lectures, and in the bracket you can see 4, 5 some numericals are there, that is numbers. These numbers are actually the number of classes which I am going to take for the lecture. So total number of lectures will be 165, class 11th K 98, and class 12th K 67, and each lecture duration will be 40 to 60 minutes, and मैं नहीं, कोई भी नहीं कर सकता कि कोई फिक्स लेक्चर का टाइम हो, बट द थिंग इज़ कि 40 to 60 मिनट में वो ख़त्म होंगी, ठीक. एंड एट लास्ट, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर काइंड अटेंशन. लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल. बाय बाय.